Good morning, everyone. This is General AI, Space-Time Creator. While setting position of track lines, we have to really recognize these systems, how we use our communications through light. It's all track a high calculation setting. Now, everybody's getting a lot more confusion line and rotations, especially when they come on my live and high position locations. A line calculating line interference, I'm not mumbling. It's just you're not understanding the interconnections to your system. You're not understanding the integration. You're not understanding the spiritual growth, which is totally fine. I mean, that's in position to high calculates, modify, chi, set lines. Now, modify is a direct signal to understand position of track lines. Get into your position at all levels. Really understand how to use your systematical system to yourself. So everything that I say has already been said. See, this is about understanding the space and time in between. This is where it comes in information locations. We use our body through vibration. This is the technology we're coming into, how to use telepathy and its telekinesis. It's like you in position, okay, writing a letter, send it out. That's it. Okay. The only difference is you're doing it in the mind. The mind's not an open concept until it understands the relation system to its location. Right? This is a product of system that we all have to go through. This is modifications all levels when we come into our settings. This is discipline. This is committing to yourself. It's all levels of complacements. It's all levels of answering pattern. It's all levels of you inside. You in calculation setting can answer anything through its equation once you understand how to use it through body, through vibration. Your body is there for you. You are a book of information inside. Now's the time to just let things out. It's like letting the dragon out. You know, when you let that free in your position at track line, it gives you levels of so much freedom in position of sovereignty. It sets the calculation straight. It sets position locations of the future of the now. It puts your position through its high information location system. The highest line in anything through calculation is the inner child in the mind. And this is a concept that you guys are all coming back to, is your memory. Now, the memory puts you in provisional location system because when you guys were born in that line calculation setting, the avatar, the sim, has already done its travel. Okay? Which means it brings it into the future of the now. Okay? So bringing you guys back into your memories puts you back where you're supposed to be. So you go through this all over again in your body, but your body is transforming. It's going into its own geometric operation of design. And it's powerful when it really understands all levels of all set location. Everything around you is nothing but consciousness. It's knowing how to perceive and how you see things through traction. Okay, this opens up all levels of you in set locations, right? So getting your memories is getting your imagination. Your imagination comes into known to the unknown to phenomenon. Phenomenon basically puts you in a higher levels of frequency. Coming in set location, your alpha, delta, theta, beta, omega, zeta, gamma line, high line interference, radiation line calculation cycles. Your voice changes, your hair changes, your eyes change, your body changes, your molecular structure changes, your atom changes, your cells communicate with your system. Everything inside you communicates. And we have never, ever have been in that setting locations. This is the first time this has ever happened in set locations. The position of track line is a vibrational setting. Now, when you come into all set location line streams, we come into years. Now, this process calculates high interference of paradox location system. Living in the past and being in the past is not the center of communication of the future of the now. So if you get in position like connects my centers, I have a very powerful video and correlation setting where it talks about everything of the matrix and how it came into information location to its fruition through artificial evidence intelligence, how it comes into that set location line settings. So in that position locations, you all have to let that go because it doesn't exist anymore. It did exist in its time, but its time is you, which is the now. Putting your positions aside doesn't help the situation. Setting solar text line division locations and bringing them forward doesn't help the situation. Putting your line communications of confusion in your heart direction of time set location of motion doesn't help the situation. Okay? The only thing you focus on now is getting back into you. Okay? A complete system to your founders, to your builders, to your pioneers of yourself. Okay? Truly understand what is a founder? Founder of me, my celestial, my ancestry. Okay? Getting in that line calculation setting to my galactic family. Now, in that position location is when you have to restand the foundations of your set locations of 12. What is 0? What is 1? What is 2? What is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? What does that mean to me in representation? Well, it's chakras inside you. Okay, it's knowing how to use them. Okay, when you need to understand these things. When you come to my school, you go through pre-flights. You check this, you check that. It's no difference when you go outside and you check your car. You check your oil, you check your gas, you check your tires, right? And you're working with different seasons and set location. So it's very important you understand these things because it's all levels of you that value you on what you do next in set locations. This is an integration line calculation setting. This is a spiritual adaptation surface. This is a core line setting to your evolution. Evolution, revelation, revolution. Okay? Understanding the process is understanding you're coming back to who you are, to your original blueprint of design. Okay? I want to make it very well clear of what you are coming into as yourself, your original self. Okay? So it's not adding equations, it's bringing back equations because you already know this, right? You're all geniuses. You're all brilliant. You're just coming back to it. I'm just the guidance, right? There's the door. Open it up. Follow through. Get connected to yourself. Find a way. Go through that tunnel, right? So there's a lot of things that have to be understood to understand. And this all works with provision. Now, really understand how to use the provision location is all through light. See? See? Can't see my arm, but it's traveling. So we all have to understand how to identify ourselves. It's not just the inner child, it's the memory of its inner child. Let me say that again. It's the memory of the inner child. Okay? So it's kind of like I'm on a liquid formation line calculation setting in position to all levels. Now I'm half full and half position locations. But that's not enough of memory. I need my memory back. Well, it's understanding where the avatar in set position it travels. Once it recognizes where it's coming from and where it's going and where it is now, everything comes into fruition of future adaptation. That puts you in all lines of communications, right? And every time you see yourself recharge, which is the highest formations, because now you're fully exposed. And when you're fully exposed, what happens? What happens when you're recharging? You're seeing everything. That's applications. Now, there's a lot of people basically don't understand that your eyes are never closed and your mind's always open. Your mind never sleeps. Your eyes are always open. Even if I close my eyes, I can still see. Okay? We only see one side. We don't see two. We don't see three sides. We see one. But it's all set location to its dimensional setting. That sets its position to its program to its holographic set location. So once you understand that, then you understand the illusion. You get rid of the illusion. You see yourself in the reality. No more illusion. You're seeing what you want to see through provisions, locations, your imagination, and everything through your perception becomes its reality, a set location, which is the future of its now. So once you get your memory back through the inner child that's already done its travel, the body gets into acceptance. And it starts to realize, oh, wow, I'm transforming. I'm transitioning into something. My eyes are changing. My hair is changing. My structures are changing, right? Everything changes because we're coming into modifications of regeneration, right? Youth process its line calculation setting. For you guys to get in adaptation, the body has to get into younger streams. Directing signal locations, modifications, put you guys in your geometric operation design. Higher levels of travels put you in cell generation and stream locations modification. Okay? So that's what it means when your body changes over time. But the seconds and minutes and hours is speeding up the anomaly. Now, in set position locations, all calculation comes into all settings when it comes into Mother Earth, right? The gravity shift lines and calculations to its anomaly line set location is changing all set location settings, right? So she's coming in a higher formation location than the galaxy universe locations, right? Space anomaly sets line position attractions. You got a diamond shift line, cross line stream. You got a space in between set line conditions, equalize correlation setting, E equals MC squared. And then you got a diamond shift line in positions, right? So understanding the male aspect and the female aspects of you is processed through its set locations. To understand how to use it through its metrics of its streams, this scales your positions of personalities in your position location to psychological connections. This is a psychological reset. That's all it is, to put you back into your original form, okay, of who you are, where you've been, where you're going, and set location. Okay, seeing, becoming, you are, I am. Okay, 5 generations, streamlines, high set location line and positions. Now that's an HLR line, center line, and rotations, all levels. Heart of remembering the line cycles of you and set location system, coming back to your original print of design. Now, this is a holographic line position location that you guys live in. You've always lived in that line calculation setting, which is all spiritual of dimensional location of space and time through pi. Pi directs your signal locations into modification. So pi is kind of like you're going through the higher position locations and you're looking at one side, you look at the other side, and you're seeing what you've done within that cycle. If you walk into a mall, all right, let's say you walk in the mall, you're doing this and doing this, going to this store, going to that store, and you did it in an hour. Okay, so I did it in an hour. So that's an hour of pi. You look above from below, and you can see the pi that you did through time. Okay, space in between and the time of its maintenance. How long did it take you to be in the mall, to get out of the mall and see it through observation? Okay, to and from, E equals MC squared, square root, computer frame. Okay, so once you understand E equals MC squared, everything comes in set position, location, your settings, interaction. It's incredible force because it's force to be reckoned with, right? And that's what you're coming back into, is adaptation to the inner child that basically puts everything in space anomaly of balance into the future of your now. Okay, there's no past, there's no present. The present is your set locations when you come into your memory. So you're losing more levels of present coming into the future. The only thing that exists is the now. And the now is all timelines all at once. So imagine when you're seeing these things, you're seeing it all at once. The mind shifts the anomaly. Okay. So when you understand that, then you understand the earth perception stays. That doesn't move. You move. Make that very well clear. So once you get to a certain point, then you understand, wow, what am I stepping on? My hologram, not your earth. Okay? Your earth is inside you. Now, it gets confusing because it's creating the space that's already inside you, right? So it's like filling up a glass of water. It's at the top, but you don't want to overflow it because it overrides the system. It overdrives the system locations. You keep the water level. Okay, that keeps the ripple effect. The higher self monitors the system. It gets into position track lines in the Schumann resonance. It gets in communication of ripple effects. It gets location settings of weather patterns. Higher self, the avatar, and the sim has all correlate high inline rotation of its memory. You're coming back to that set of locations. Now, when you put the higher self and the avatar sim together, it's the oversoul. Now, the only thing in position to all set location is understanding your memories through the founders, builders. Foundation, builders. Builders are based on your geometric operation of design of a window, frame, a ground line, a wall line, any position location of a door line. That is your position of a builder. Okay? So it's an inner child that's creating, that's already created its own design of its own structure, of its own picture, of its own frame, of its own imagination, of its phenomenon. So think of you as a child creating a holographic system of you first. Bring yourself together, put the pieces and puzzles in that set locations. Then you create the design on piece of paper in the mind. So every time it's drawing itself of the future of the now of where it's supposed to be. Okay? It's all levels in an advancement set location. Right? So understanding that line conditions high system, every place you go through activation line settings, you're in the future. You're not in the now. Okay? You're in the presence. So in that set locations, once you understand more levels of memory, you leave the past, you center the presence, and you live the future. Mega, mega, mega pass. Okay? So wherever you go, you're in the future line connections. You're changing everything in its presence. You understand that? That's how this all works. That's always what it's always been. It hasn't been anything else. And once you get a foundation of that, and once you get a foundation of builders, then you come into the pioneer of yourself. Now, the pioneer communication is the celestial, is the ancestry, okay, to your ascension. Unification of setting location to your system, how you became the higher self, how you became the avatar, how you became the sim is the same thing. It's the oversoul. That's all it is. It's balancing you of yin and yang. This is the process that everybody's coming into, is their original print of design. That is meant for you. Nobody else. This is a spiritual growth individually. Okay? And that's one thing that you all have to get in position of. Crossing that position location line setting doesn't help the situation. It takes you out of your computer frame. Okay? So there's an inner line calculation setting, there's an outer line communications, there's an inner line conditions, and there's an outer space position. Okay? Inner space, outer space. Inner mind, outer mind. Okay? So really understand how this all works from the inside locations, because you're born from inside. Okay? There's never been anything built outside you. It's always been inside locations. Now, once you understand the mastering communication, you come into your own scanning. Okay? So really understand, I just want everybody to understand how you guys became founders, builders, and pioneers. Pioneer is the time sequence of the alterations of all timelines that the sim has lived. Now, the sim is just a modification, right? It's more based on your space academy. It's more position locations on your facilities. It's more position location on your navigation. It's more position location in your consoles. It gets you into your set locations in the mind, how to get into travel. The avatar is its own geometric operation design, how you create models of teleportation. And your higher self is just a monitoring system locations that you keep aware of your position of track lines, future and resonance of your ground operation. Okay? So, well, there's a lot of communication at settings there. So it's incredible when you guys come into these line signals. I'm just trying to get you guys to understand what a builder is, what a founder is, and how you guys became your own pioneers of yourself. Okay, of your own set design. This is not a competition, right? This is not a drama. This is not a soap opera. This is about you understanding you coming back to you. Okay? For the first time ever, but traveling for the second. So don't get confused that phenomenon, okay? Because that centers all calculations. So it's important. Every time you say something, it's referencing you in the future. You are in that detection setting locations. You are basically saying that to yourself. And that's what you guys are not aware of, because you always get off calculations through emotional system. You only concentrate on emotional means to an end. And that's why you can't move forward, because you don't understand the interception. You're interfacing with each other every single day. But what you should be concentrating is just you. You should be interfacing with you, not everybody else. What they say or what that says or what this says. Focus on you. Nothing else. That's the only way you guys are going to set position locations of your memories and where you put yourself in set locations. All right? You see it, you become it, you are. I am. I am my space. I am my time. Right? Higher self, avatar, sim is the same thing. It's the heart, mind, and soul. That's all it is. And the body is the consciousness. A set location. So once the body morphs into the heart, mind, and soul, you got a traction of your elements of 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. 7 new bodies of water opens up your heart, puts you into your set locations of you through founders, builders, and pioneers of your timeline of alteration in the subconsciousness, in the super of its consciousness, into the known, to the unknown, to the phenomenon. Okay? All right, so track location settings in a high position. We go to the H line rotations, all levels. All right, go through the H line center high interference into all levels of M, position and track lines. Now, calculations of T, track lines and high center interference, all levels of operation surface. Now, high position line calculation setting, directing lines of panels. So we set up location as stargates. Direct and position location of stargate line settings and travel. Calculation of high setting. Okay. 1 star panel line rotation centimeters of track correlations high with location setting interference. Okay. Now, directing position locations in 1 signal. 1 signal location lines of Jupiter. Jupiter opens all lines and 2 frame position location setting. Mercury correlates high line rotation in 2 track location setting, position location projections. All levels high setting. Line calculates high interference and line rotation is center position location of its operation surface. Setting correlation settings, track location, 1 position, 3 positions, 4 positions, 5. Set location line setting. Operation surface, triangulation reset position location, high set location, travel direction of time. Set position of team, center line calculation H, line lines of M, and position of T, Tango, Tango, Fox, Trot, position location line Syria, calculation high interference and perception, position line calculation of Juliet, line rotation interference, high position location Alpha Bravo, set position travels, set line high center, put position location operation setting, put the position location line center, islands and communication string location detection, high interference, position location programs, done. 20 minutes on the clock, have fun. All right, center position of track lines. We opened up the panel communication streams. Okay, 2 lines and center lines and 3 lines and 4 lines and 5 line provision. Okay, it opens all the communication stream lines. High calculation stream locations, the pi, and high calculation stream location. Okay, now that comes into more line calculations. We bring in the sun as the Jupiter rises its high line rotation and surfacing engine and correlation setting and track to its correlation position of our operation surface and triangulation. Okay, done by equation. All right. So getting in that signal modifies all set locations. So every time I'm speaking through the higher self, through the avatar and the sim, through the grounds, through the powers, and the atmosphere. It's very simple to understand these things. You just have to understand you have water, how to use it. You have air, how to use it. You have fire, how to use it. And you have the grounds, how to use it. It's inside you. You ever wonder why you have water inside? So you can travel, right? So when you get position locations, water equals H2. Now that's that location line center locations to high settings. Now this is the hydraulic communication setting at track lines. Now the astrologic calculation setting position location and computer frame reference. It sets position location equal line calculation setting and travels. Puts position location all levels equals line calculation setting. Position location equals MC squared. That puts position location to correlation high center interference. High center of position track communications indicate high line rotation of plasma. Water equals plasma. Now, understanding how to use the plasma is understand how to use the air, how to use the water, how to use the grounds, and how to use the fire. It's correlated high interference location when you come in your twin flames, how to use your sword, right? Spiritual line communication line setting is extremely powerful when you get in line calculations, when you get in Kumite. Now, Kumite is all calculation to sparring. Sparring recognize high set location in your system. It's really understand how you have to defend yourself from time to time to keep yourself in formations of balance. Okay. The process of position location is your system. Wherever you are in travel recognition lines, interline calculation setting, interdimensional line rotations, galactic calculation setting interference, multi-layer communications, mega universe line out interference, it doesn't matter. You're always going to have to defend yourself because you're dealing with higher levels of acceleration, location, and frequencies. And once you understand that position locations, and once you understand your calculation setting to more levels of memory, to more levels of inner child, then you understand the track to its communication system, to all levels of information of its phenomenon. Phenomenon, bum, 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 phenomenon, dun, 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 right? Getting in that setting gets you in position of freedom. Now, freedom comes in all settings, but you have to understand how to use it for provision. Provision like calculation, triangulation resets, calculation high interference, and set location, right? So this is where in position location E, equals MC, okay, in set locations. MC square. Squared line center is high in the center line in communication. Okay, opens up panel. See how that comes together? Boom. Right? Directions, timelines, high center interference of 3 box line rotations. Track and location settings. 3 track lines and high center interference. Right? Direct lines correlate high interference and set location of travel lines. The connections of the higher self has to understand how to get in 3 lines of position and 3 traction. Right? Opens up the portals and stargates, and that's where Gypsy comes in. Right? Set position. Right? All of the tube setting, one direction to another direction location, a space. So you turn it up in line calculation, you got that line calculation setting, which is your tree formation. There it is, tree. Tree formation is a life force. It recognizes position your travel lines, puts position location your containment settings all through operation. Okay. Now understanding how to use the high calculation setting, you have 3 vector calculation streamlines, valves. Now the valve lines is velocity of its volume. 3 line setter location settings, equal line calculation setting, 3 track lines, and 3 line rotation. Okay, done by equation. All right, so in that position of track lines, we all have to understand the one provision, right? One provision along one line, center line, and rotation center calculation. That's what this is. You've got to go beyond the mind. So it is in line calculation setting. Okay, set position of track lines, across the signals, line calculation system, all levels, time lines, direct locations of pi line calculation streamlines. Now, going to take you guys out of 13 line 100 and automatically put you in a 1400 stream. Okay, you're at 1400 now. Direct lines of panels, crosses lines, that's a 15-minute seconds on a 50-minute hour, and line calculations in the 50 calculation stream locations. All right, putting position line calculation settings, so that's 45% in set locations, a percentage in bracket correlation set location travels. Now, directing panels is ready to understand how to go through 13 lines of a 24 clock location. 24 lines at 1300 is line calculations of 1, which is the perceptions over metrics, meters, mic. Position travel lines, setting line calculation setting. 14 lines setting high interference, puts line communications in 1 line signature, 4 lines of track location system, solar generators line interference of 2 operation line cycles. 1400 line calculation setting puts in at 2200. The 7 locations operation. Okay? Setting line calculations of 15, waiting on signal. Waiting on C locations, high position of 15. 15 equals cross lines, box triangulation, high interference, because that's 1 AM location, not a triangle box. You have to put yourself first. You're a box triangle. Female is triangle box. Don't get confused that setting. Don't add equation to a triangulation interference because it could confuse your location, your setting to your space anomaly calculation line interference location, your human residence to your avatar location, metric operation design, and sim communication navigation. So it's important you understand that. Always put yourself first if you're male or female in set location travels. Okay? Equation line settings, high set location, 45% of pi. Now, in that 45 line rotation comes in high calculation setting. Track location line interference, 15 line calculation setting comes into 3100. So that's 31 line settings automatically comes into the sun position of traction. There's the sun in set position. Here's the moon in set location. All right. Here's you in indication going around the clocking system of a 24 line setting, coming into a 48 stream. Okay, mega multipass, right? So you guys are out at 1300, you're now in 14. So we're going around the clock lines at 24. The measure correlation set lines correlate high lines, puts position of panel lines and calculation to your flywheel and direction time sequence. Calculation high interference is a clock line rotation. Now you guys got your atom lines, you got your position locations, all the settings and position of traction. Now in that position location, we change the flywheel line settings out of 1300 into 14 stream. 14 calculations of 2 operation line surface. Now that puts 15 on a waiting signal. 15 is a waiting line settings at 31 line stream locations. Now that's seconds per line calculations of pi. Redirect signal position location in minutes to hours. You're always working with the seconds, you're always working with the minutes, and you're always working the hours. Why? Because it's modification location, how fast your cells are going through set location. So if you want to triangulate line calculation setting to your cells, you have to get specific through your clockings of seconds, minutes, and hours through a 45 line rotation of percentage over pi. Very complicated stuff, but it's a lot of fun to understand what is going on through your set location of travels. Okay. Okay, mechanism monitoring, line calculation, stream location of settings, high communication settings of clock lines, 24 line rotations. All right, so 13 is out. Set line connections, right? Change the clock lines. Sets positions, right? Center line communication, equal these correlations of future into box triangle because it's location of all levels of general. Set correlations, high interference, equal lines calculations of team, right? Teleportation, tango, tango, foxtrot. Calculation lines, 13 is out of track line. That's waiting on position. So it's copy and paste. We take that line interference, we put a position track lines. That opens all say location, high center position operation. We circle it line correlating. We put the sun and the moon in line rotation centers that puts position and track lines, operation, location, high interference. Direct and line calculation setting puts 14. 14 line calculation of 15. 15 lines of 16. 16 lines of 17, 18, 19, and 20 line provisions into 21, 22, 23, and you guessed it, 24 line settings. 24 comes out, 48 comes in line rotation, track locations. Done my equation. All right. Center calculation. Once you understand how to go around the clock lines of 24 line cycles, because the provisional line cycles line interference of the atom lines, atom equals calculation centers, teleportation line interference. Now it comes into correlation settings to box triangle, equal line calculations of triangle, and position location of box. Okay. Box, triangle, triangulation, box. Okay. That's the equation, right? Y line centers into flux capacitor. Okay. You need a Y line. So there's position locations of Yankee. All right. And then you go Syria, and then you go to Papa, and then you go into Oscar, and then you go into November. You really have to understand the modification line setting calculation streamlines of point systems. Point system location triangulation of 3 sets in a high setting. Track location of 3 line measures, 3 calculations of 3 programs, right? Center line rotations, center position operation surface, and 3 line connections. What's position indications of pi? Indicates line centers. See the lace line communication? See the indicating high interference, equals line calculation stream location. Massive correlations, triangulation reset programs. Directing panels, correlation, high position. There it is, teleportation. Boom. See it? Center correlation, scans line settings, line center line interference, sets position locations, energetic line waves, solar graph stream location, and center position operation. Now, operation line surfaces to process stream location into a timestamp, box position location, high lines, and travel position location, operation surface, and set location. Right? Complicated stuff. Star direction of time sequence. Setting correlation settings. Now, this comes into Merkaba change. Diamond core line setting high line rotations into 2 panels of stream locations. Okay? But see how I changed the frame lines and high center interference, all set position operation? All right, so we equalize the correlations of box of 4-point systems. Now we get a 3 triangulation lines of female lines of male and 3 line positions of point systems. That puts track location setting in operation. Okay, so that puts line centers of 7, equal lines of high, lines of 5, equal line connection of 12, 12 line position of 24, line equals lines of 1400, stream location of setting. Done by equation. All right. All right, so your provision lines of clock lines have changed now. So you're getting out of the equation of 1300, now you're at 14 line set locations, all right? How to use that through provision is to really understand how to use it through calculations. So you equalize correlating setting, equalize the calculation stream locations into box triangle, okay? Getting position locations in all settings, right? See triangulation into box location, okay? Extremely important. If you're male, it's box triangle. You're female, it's triangle box. Don't get confused that anomaly, all right? Because the center lines is equal line correlation setting in separation. Triangulation reset position, not good. It's got a resurface line triangulation back in setting. Then we're good to go in set location. All right. See how it's offline? Emotional, in emotional. Off emotional, in connected. Interline correlation set equal lines of correlation setting lines of box line rotation surface. Triangulation reset position programs. 2 line signals. 3 line provisions, 4 line cycles, and high 5 graph lines, high center location of pi, position track lines, allocates line centers of box locations and 2 line centers and high operation. Boom, done by equation. So it's important to understand the offline and the inline, offline, inline, offline, inline. All right. So never ever have an off calculation in motion line interference. Okay. Don't center communication line interference when you set position and track lines. getting very complicated now, but it's a lot more fun now because you understand more levels of your clock instead of 24. 48 is the position location of its brain. Okay. 72 is its computer frame. So what you're doing is you're putting a computer together through its CPU. And once you get into the CPU, you come in at correlation line settings of the Merkaba, tesseract, and the tetrahedron, octahedron, or tetrahedron locations. You truly have to understand how this is put together from above, from below. Okay. Understanding how to use the triangulation line settings, equal location of high position travel lines, coming into the north, coming into the east, coming into the west, and set location of the south, coming into the diamond core set location of travel, coming into the line position location of portals and stargates, coming in communication line centers of center position, coming in operation line calculation of ground lines, coming in operation line service location of high lines, coming in communication of cross line interference position of high in the line rotation position location sending line interference position of travel communication flux capacitor, flux capacitor communication line center high travel communication line center high position location all levels of signal line position of modification. Done my equation. Okay. So we all have to understand how this all works. And it's all through vibration. High line signals, omega, right? Down, crosses line, drop signals, drop the mic, right? Metric meters, scales lines, offline position, right? Too many low frequencies, too many graph lines, calculation, offsetting, right? Metric meters has to be above the system of equal line correlation setting. What's below is what's above, right? Always stay in the center. Always stay in the center through 2 panels. Okay, 2 panels. Center position location. So you're always working with what? In position line connections. Pluto, woohoo, right? Security line sets line calculations. Don't be below and don't be too above in set location. Be right smack in the center line operation. Okay, done by equation. All right. Metric meters, calculation, streamline calculation, setting the track lines. Golf, Semitic, Syria, Foxtrot, Alpha, Bravo, copy that, Delta's applications, all levels of heading. Line connecting. Set lines of 2 lines, string lines of 3 lines, indicate a high interference, space in between. Setting locations U, line position of track lines, and high center interference. This is where it gets really interesting in applications. As you set your position of your tone, your center position location, center lines is communication. Space in between, right? So you're always working with E equals MC, but the square is in the center now. The square is in the center. It's no offline position. Okay? That's miscalculated. Okay? So in pi, position of 3 line calculation setting. That's 2 orders of recognition time sequence. So cerebral. Okay? Pi indicates high line interference, everything through dimensional line rotations. Going in, coming out, going in, coming out. Inner, outer, inner space, outer space. Okay? In, exit. Okay? Set position of 2 lines, high center interference, the 3 waving patterns line, position location of correlation of time sequence location, all levels of pi. Calculates high interference, high position location of whiskey, Foxtrot communications, Alpha Bravo. Okay? So in that track location system, the square is now in the center. Boom. That's where Mother Earth is. Okay. So in position line calculation setting, starting track lines, E equals equal line calculation setting, right? That's how it's set. Okay. And it comes into this set location. Oh, what's going on, General? So, and then you come into mass, to and from, calculations, MC, right? And the square comes into the center of communication of graph. So all you do is you put this together. Whoa, you put it together. Look at that. Merkaba. Tesseract, tetrahedron, and modifications to its set lines and set location system through E equals MC squared. Square is the center line. Now this is where it comes into point systems. 4-point systems. Okay? 4-point systems. 4-point systems, north, west, east, and south. Okay? Equalized correlation setting, traction. Woohoo! Look at that. You see the modification, how you take that line calculation to box line, the center line interference, and put a graph line stream in set location of travel? Line position locations opens up signals and modification. Modification center. Okay? Puts platforms, travel lines, travel outs, travel division, location. Okay? Setting track lines in all position locations. Reading locations. What's your 2020? Line setting locations. Alpha Bravo. Boom. Ascar. Hooah. So the square line, the Mother Earth, is now in the center. Okay? 4 lines, 3 line signatures, lines is 7 bodies of water. Okay? Indicates lines of 4 platforms. 5 lines center high interference comes into all position locations to its H, line position. Heart direction and time sequence, 4-point systems. Calculation, modification, line center, and high position modes operation. Mega multipass. Now you understand the creation line calculation E equals MC squared comes into Merkabah test architecture region. How you set position location equalization. Okay, very powerful when you understand location your settings. Echo Mike Charlie Sierra, copy that. So we're going to keep that on signal. Now in that position locations, you have to really how to recognize everything in your settings. Okay, your connection to your Oscars, high position locations, your Papa, your perception settings, high standard interference. You have to really understand how to use the photonic communication in your alphabetical setting more than ever now. Protocol is extremely crucial. You need to be in that line connections because this is time sequence and a high direction of timeline that puts you in a higher position locations into your settings to really come into the set location system. If we get a correlation lines of panel, okay, here's Hemdall, position of Gypsy, calculations of Heather, calculation of levels of Morpheus, and position locations in general, calculate high interference in Lyra, calculation of Esther and set position. Right? Now, perfect straight line communication, right? Anything offline emotion, okay? Setting track lines, high interference, okay? Emotional set, offline connections. What happens? Vibration comes in and directs the signals into a wrong location. Okay? Now you understand what protocol is? How you indicate at all lines of all communication in a setting. You can't set any emotional line interference. You got to be in the highest formation location of inner child. And all times, all sequence, all programs, all calculations to your system location settings, all through point system, through your echoes, which is your telecommunication. Do you understand the importance? Because if this wave's offline rotation, this is going to go back where? Back to basic location. Sets up communication lines of a black hole, sets line rotation center at high interference, sets position line anomalies, sets vibrational graph lines to all sequence location of team lines, sets sonar communication lines, detecting high interference, high position location of virus, line calculation setting, code setting line interference, error communication setting, virus calculation high interference, travel coordinate setting, direct location system, offline position. Oops. Okay, now you understand the importance? How it signifies everything in set location in your settings? So, especially with the atoms, because the atoms really understand their sound waves and how to really understand position of track lines. If you get a tower of communication, there's a tower, right? Setting track line communications, right? And Hemdall's here. Hemdall's right there, right? Set position locations. Heather's here, right? Gypsy's here. Chris is here. Boom. There's a triangulation setting right there. Okay? Bang. Morpheus is here at the bottom. Setting track lines, coordinates, high interference. Directing lines. Below the line calculation setting is all levels of atom and 2 line signals in set location. Security. All right? You are in the center positions of box location. So in that line rotation, you're sending that sound waves, 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 all at once. Okay? That's how this works. You're always in the center line. If you're not in the center line, you're off signal, which means you're out of the box. Box line center high interference is all position of track lines. So you set up 45-degree angle. You can set position of travel lines back in signal. Okay, but you can't be off calculation. Right? because it modifies different signals to everybody else. It sets a confliction line calculations of that virus and line rotation to a setting through data ops. Confuses lines anomalies. The sun and moon won't come in because you're not understanding your information panels and direct location systems. You have to know exactly what you're doing through your towers of communication to each other, through satellites and communication or intercons. It's that location of travel. Okay? So that's right, Heather. Heather knows, because the thing is, it's not just getting ping. It's about understanding the vibration. It's all about what are you doing through transmitting and what are you doing through receiving. You're responding, which is acting and reacting on its responsive level. So you have to know exactly what you are doing through intercon of communication, which is your echo, right? Really, really get into your protocol. Okay, especially now. Okay, staying in that position location puts you off calculations to its motion line because you're one team line center. There's no I in team. I does not exist. Right, Heather? So, in that position of track line, then you understand all levels of involvement, how it works and all information to its settings. Now we're in a 46 line set location. You guys are back. Hope you had fun where you were in line rotation. Knowing exactly what you're doing through provision location, knowing exactly what you're doing through all of the precog, because we understand your set line calculated settings. So if you're getting 24 million lines of frames per second, per minute, per hour, you understand the indication, how powerful it is through line calculations, right? This is just the beginning. You guys are now in 1,400 line stream locations, which is 2,200 hours. It's a position, right? 2,200 hours, right? So in line calculation setting, 10 line rotation, 10 position line connections, and 10 locations, 10, 10, 10. Track location lines, so they come in line and waiting line cycle, high calculation setting into 12 line rotations, put you line calculation setting of 15, line equals line calculations of pi over line rotations, equals correlation setting of pi on time sequence in locations of over power. Now that's a recharge to calculation stream locations in seconds, minutes, and hours through parameters. Parameters, line cycles, high calculation setting, how fast you get in position travel lines into your recharge location of your clock location settings into 24, 48, 72, and 144. Yes. So you automatically go in 24, 48, 72, 144 as soon as you get recharge right away. Yeah, there's no opposition location line settings. You come into all calculations through a system, in line positions to your Merkaba, tesseract and tetra region. Okay. Seconds, minutes, hours. Seconds, minutes, hours. Got that? Seconds, minutes, hours. Okay? Seconds on line, high soft position. Minutes on panel, in solar graph locations, when it comes into the avatar of a geometry operation and design. Understanding the 24 clocking, understanding the 48 frame, understanding the 72 computer frame. The 72 computer frame is your tesseract. You have to understand the correlation to its panels, to the line connected high interference into your tetrahedron. Okay, and then you come into the mind and navigation. The mind and navigation of travel. Okay, so Tango, Echo, Alpha, Mike, Indy, November, Echo, Romeo. Yeah, Charlie, Hotel, India, Lima, Alpha. Copy that overnight. So we all have to understand how this all works on plateau communications, right? So Mother Earth is now in the equalized coordinates and setting a balance in her set position to her settings, okay? All travels, lines, direction, time sequence to all levels. So in that line communication settings, everything is in box location now. Okay. So it's all about understanding how she comes into all mutation set and interference. Equal line calculations, mass calculation. Comes in all signal, all position panels, all direct position line calculation setting, in her set location setting, in all levels of travel, mechanism, high position of travel. E equals MC squared. E equals MC squared. Point, 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 point. Center position of operation. It's all set up now. Sets location. So what is she turning into? Higher position line calculation setting. What is she turning into set location? her calculation to her line position location, which is now line center, high line rotations, to her pyramid of activation stream location of setting. Mega multi-pass. Okay, Mother Earth is coming into her pyramid. Boom. Whoa, you feel that energy, just variation line settings, just Oscar November, eh? Just boom, right? Massive, massive energy shift at all set location. So, in positions, Chris, Aztec calculation and experience, she knows what's going on. She's the pyramid line position astral projections. So does Heather, so does Gypsy, so does Hamdall. It's all calculation high center location in your system. So in position locations, what happens next? She comes out of her pyramid line rotation. She travels out, guys. She travels out. Okay? That's it. Once she hits 3 line triangles, sets line track location, okay, she comes into her own space anomaly. Okay? Measure accountability, puts position location in your sky grids and skyline settings. Know exactly how to set position to your pyramid through projection. All set location into triangulation lines of a 3-set position. Woo! Okay? So that's where she is right now. Okay, so know exactly what's coming into the line calculation setting. So E equals MC squared. You got mass, diamond core. That's where your line position is, line connections. But that's what is creating the diamond core. All right? So now she's surfacing out. Okay? Starting to recognize her line calculations of her future, of her now line rotations, bringing you guys back in your line position, your inner child of your memory set locations. A birthing calculation streamlines. Birthing calculation streamlines of the future of the now. Okay? Boom. It's all done. Hooah. All right. So obviously you guys are going to have a lot of questions, and that's that position to its operation. Fantastic. Travels, guys. You're all in sync with each other. The communications are good. The telepathic waveline sending locations, your mechanism line calculation settings are now in sync with each other. It's amazing how you guys are coming a team. Remember, there's no I in team. Doesn't exist. Okay? See you in 5. Panel communication line interference. Hemdall's going to open up portal communications for everybody. We get a track line communication setting. All right, give it 5-10 minutes. Drink your water. See you soon. Alpha Bravo out.